Hello.
Hi.
We are recording a 10-week awakening update because it's 10 weeks since I got back from my retreat, 10 weeks since my Kensho, and fair to say it's not all sunshine and rainbows anymore. Is that right?
I think it's important to do an update video because obviously last time we did one, you were still very much in the thick of it. Simon was back online, but the awakening was still very front and centre.
Yeah, it was very on the surface rather than, and it hadn't been as integrated. So we want to do a video where, because it's about being honest, isn't it? Like we want to share how this is unfolding in real time. And some people have asked me in comments like, why are you doing this so soon after a shift, after a Kensho? And that's why I'm doing it. That's why we're doing it is to, really make it perhaps seem not as out there, and to be honest about it, because I'm not some polished guru type. It's so that honesty is really important to us.
And I think people are following along in real time. And what's happened now is it's just been integrated more into real life, because real life doesn't stop, does it? He's still got a job, he's still got a family, he's still got to function in the way that he was doing before. And obviously it has changed, but life doesn't change. And I think that's kind of the crux of it.
Yes.
You don't have the potential to go and live in a monastery and dedicate
nor
your
would I
life
want to, right? Yeah. I think, family, work, etc., all that stuff is where the rubber meets the road. And, awakening has collided to some degree with normal life. And that's been really interesting to see and see where the edges get smoothed off. Okay. So what's the first question? Go on.
I wanted to ask you how you feel now. 10 weeks in.
10 weeks in, how do I feel now? Well, when we recorded the first video, it was still close to the surface. It still felt energetically fresh. My energy was still high. Yeah. Now, basically, things have really settled down to normal. So when I see people, it's me, it's normal, with a couple of key distinctions. And the first one is the presence. So the presence that I am, you are, that is locked in a way that was not the case before, even though I was so into self-inquiry and meditative practices and all that kind of stuff. I was so aware of that, but it's now locked in to the point where leaving the present moment is an effort. So I don't really reminisce about the past or either worry or imagine about the future. It's just what's here now. And that frees up a tremendous amount of energy. And also it means there's a very low resistance to what is, even during challenging moments. And there have been some, and we'll talk about that. Quick example, this isn't challenging. So Alex and I, we went to a family wedding up in Scotland this weekend, and we drove up because we wanted to be back. It's Alex's birthday today. Happy birthday, darling.
Thank you.
And we wanted to be back with the kids. So we did a 10-hour drive back from Scotland yesterday. And I drove the whole way. We got up before sunrise and we, got back like 5-ish. And a 10-hour drive, you would ask me a lot, like, are you okay? Are you tired? And it was like, no, I'm just driving. It's not I've been driving for X hours. It's just I'm driving. Now I'm driving. Then we got home. Your mum was here, been looking after the kids super helpfully. And what needed to be done then? Well, I needed to cook dinner. And then the kitchen was in a bit of a state, so I needed to tidy the kitchen.
It sounds like I don't do anything.
No,
I drove half the way to Scotland, and I did.
It doesn't. But that's not the point. Alex does plenty. Trust me.
I do.
And then also our daughter, who's had a bit of a cough, like she came in the night, and I had to go and sleep on the couch. Now it's not like, oh my God, I've driven 10 hours, therefore I shouldn't have to cook or anything like that. It's just no. Now I'm driving. Now I'm cooking. Now I'm cleaning. Now I'm sleeping downstairs. And that...
and I'm having a whale of a time.
She's bloody life of Riley. But it's having that... It's just meeting the moment as it is and not really having that capacity to escape. Because as I said, it takes effort. And that is a really beautiful thing. It saves so much energy. And it's not seeking the highs or the lows. It's just this moment as it is miraculous and is beautiful. And so it feels like that is the jewel of this, is the... however life is showing up, that's it. That's all it is, and that's enough, and it's beautiful.
I think this has been one of the biggest changes for me. So I made a big life decision this summer to leave my job, which is a big deal. I've been there a long time. I have a stable income. Simon doesn't have a stable income job. You're self-employed.
No, I'm not. I have a salary.
No. So it was a big decision, and I intuitively knew I just had to do this. And you were worried. You were supportive, but you were a bit worried at first.
Yeah.
And I think
because it had implications, you know,
financial implications, all sorts of.
Because we've always had that thing of like, not having a salary means, yes, the upsides are potentially massive, but also there's a risk. So to both be in that situation, my initial response was, first sort of knee jerk.
Yeah. So what's happened now is that because he can only see the present, and because you are so intuitively guided now as well, it's really freed me up and given me so much confidence that what I'm doing has this kind of solid, steady presence through you. It just feels really freeing. It feels like you're not saying, well, what if this goes wrong? What if this doesn't work? It's just, no, this is what's happening. And it's given me a huge amount of security. And I just feel a lot safer with my decision, knowing that we're both in it, and you're not that you're not thinking of the potential challenges, but not worrying unnecessarily.
No, well, that's the funny thing is that during a Kensho, recognizing, experiencing directly, and it is a direct experience, which some people don't say, but it is a direct experience, and an experience that it is the universe living Simon, just as the universe is living you, and so there's a trust then in that I know it's not that it's Simon here and the world out there. No, it's all one. And so there's a trust that whatever happens is okay. And that's very freeing in terms of, well, then we can really take the shackles off and go for what we intuitively feel to be will add the most value to the world and be enriching, and I don't mean financially, but for us on a soul level, let's say. And even if it doesn't work, it's like, okay, well, then that's fine. Whereas previously it's like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? Whereas now, if it doesn't work out, it's fine. We'll be fine. Whatever we have to do. If I have to go and work on a fruit and veg stall selling vegetables, and obviously, by the way, I love my local fruit and veg man, so I'm not knocking that, but just as an example, then fine. That's just, again, this moment as it is. So the presence, and that's affected both of us, it's affected our kids too.
Yeah, so this presence that he had, this is interesting. So we have our toddler, she had night terrors, and she'd never had this before. And it was really upsetting. It was quite scary. She just sort of woke up one night screaming.
In terror.
Yeah, it was horrible. And I was immediately with her, cuddling her, and I couldn't really console her. And she started crying for daddy. Now, usually when she's upset or she's ill, she wants me. So this was a little bit different. So got Simon. Simon came in, and she just wanted to be with him. And we were like, it feels like she can sense this presence within you. And it's happened once or twice since, not to the same degree.
Whenever she's in that distressed state, she wants that. And it's such a gift then to just be with her. Boom, just like that. And actually, just as an aside, people often ask me, how do I be with difficult feelings? Just like that. It's just being with. Boom. Except in our case, it's feelings, overwhelming feelings. So the kids absolutely feel it. And then for me, the gift or the fruit of that presence is a stillness inside that can vary in its palpability. It can sometimes be more covered than others, particularly during challenging moments, which there have been plenty. But it's this, it's locked in. It's because that's who we are. That stillness is who we are, and it's just so palpable. And I remember walking down a train thinking, God, I wouldn't change this for all the money in the world. I mean, it's literally priceless. It's literally priceless. So that's what that's how I feel. That's the fruit. But a lot of the other stuff, the energy, it is settled back down to a pretty normal level. And there has been, what's been interesting as well is noticing the integration. So anytime I'm out of alignment, and this is the work, again, I do in my coaching, out of alignment, it's so obvious now. Because I talk about self-abandonment, and that's been such a key thing in our relationship the whole time. Is like, how are we abandoning ourselves? What's mine? What's yours? Etc. Now, even in the most subtle ways, it shows up. A couple of examples. Old friendships can be based on, for example, self-deprecating humor. Oh, remember when you did that embarrassing thing? Ha ha ha. And there was an example of this. I was having a text conversation. Remember when you did that embarrassing thing? And I was like, why would I fuel that? Like, why would I, bond over like very subtle shame? So I just couldn't react to that. Another thing would be gossip. So, WhatsApp groups where people can be making jokey comments about people, for example. I would very happily have been part of that, not in a mean way, but, for a fun way before. Now, gossip, small talk at the wedding, small talk, like, kills me. And then even a little thing, like I went and had my hair cut, and like I'm someone who can be quite performative. I was attention seeking, obviously a broadcaster. That was an old pattern for me. And so in quiet moments, for example, at the barbers, I would be chat. Now I go there and I'm like, why am I doing that? Like, why would I do that? And so I've had my hair cut a couple of times since, and it's just, I'm there like actually a really quiet person sat in the seat, which I'm sure, well, possibly my barber thinks, what the hell's wrong with him? But that's been quite noticeable. So these subtle patterns drop away. So that's been a growing thing.
Should we talk about what hasn't changed though? Because I like,
what, in terms of the physiology.
Yeah, because I like the phrase that you say about, what is it? Before enlightenment, chop wood. After enlightenment, chop wood. And life carries on.
Life does carry on.
And you are in the same body.
That exactly. But do you know what? That's such a good point. So without going into too much detail, I had a calling to go and see some distant family members, and I went and was confronted with a pattern that is very deep-rooted, generational, and I had a firm boundary. Someone didn't like it, and we had a bit of a fallout. Anyway, then, oh God, it's difficult to know how to say this and keep privacy, but basically, we went to the wedding, and this pattern then sort of showed up again, and we were sleeping in a hotel. Obviously, it's not my own bed, and there's no kind of escape from a hotel room. And this pattern showed up again, and I could feel my physiology get revved up. Long story short, I basically had a really bad night's sleep, and my nervous system was revved up. I lay against the wall with my legs up at the wall, and in the morning, I had to get up and speak on behalf of the part of me that needed to express. Like speak up on, it's like a loving action, speaking up on behalf of the feeling that had been triggered by that pattern.
Well, it's not self-abandoning,
as
you were saying
not
before.
Self-abandoning, exactly. Not to try and control or influence others, but just speaking up on behalf of that part. And what was interesting was it's not like I can escape my physiology. I have a sensitive nervous system, much more sensitive than you. Mm. And in that moment, my nervous system was revved up, and it was a reminder, I still need to take account of the fact that I have a sensitive nervous system. And meditating after my shift felt kind of weird. It was like, there's no meditator separate from what I would meditate on. So, this has been a reminder, no, I still need to be mindful of my sensitive nervous system and, for example, do some breathing exercises as like flossing for my nervous system. And that's been a reminder, right? There's no escaping our humanity, our patterns, and our physiology.
I think that sometimes people think that by awakening, you can bypass all these things, and you can't. You cannot bypass your humanness.
No, absolutely. That's a lot of people want awakening to avoid their stuff, and that's not the way it works. If anything, it's just even more clear.
And it was interesting to me when this happened, because obviously I was empathetic, but also I was interested in it. I was like, oh, this is the first time since you've had your Kensho that this has been happening to you.
Yeah,
and I thought, it's interesting.
Obviously in a hotel room at home, it would have been different because I could have got up and I was just stuck with this revved up nervous system. But absolutely. So there's no bypassing our humanity, which is exactly as you put. So what about you? Like, what have you, from your perspective, how do you feel different? What's the same as before? Like, how have things continued to evolve from your point of view?
I think the biggest thing has been your confidence in the future, or not necessarily your confidence in the future, just your knowing that what's happening is going to happen. And
Can I just add one very quick thing? It's interesting
Yeah.
because you talk about confidence for the future. Sometimes
Yeah.
you do say to me, what do you think about the future? And it's like, well, it's not really like that. I'm not thinking about the future. It's whatever is as it's meant to be and is fine. You know. And we've had a couple of hairy moments, haven't we? And actually look back and think, oh, actually those were blessings. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
I think that's been the biggest change for me. I think it's just the fact that you're very solid, you are very present, and I'm sure this is what you bring to your coaching as well.
Oh yeah.
You just come from that place all the time. I don't know what more to say about that, really. You just are.
But how has that, and that's then made you feel more solid, or allowed you to feel more solid?
Definitely. It's just nice. I mean, things that we were talking about in the last video, like he's now really tidy and he's doing all the cooking and all this sort of thing. You are tidier than you were pre-Kensho.
I'm not quite as fastidious.
Not as fastidious as he was when he got home from the retreat.
I'm not picking up every bit of litter that I walk past anymore.
No. You are still cooking lovely vegetarian meals. But that sort of thing has faded away, which is good. You know, I fell in love with Simon, so it's nice for me that Simon is here still. But
I mean, you came out with quite a nice line.
Well, how about how you're you, but with the edges kind of smoothed off? That's how I feel. So last time I think I said that he was Simon 2.0, and I'd say this time he's Simon with this new, almost informed centre with the edges smoothed off. Like you,
I think you described it as Simon 1.5. Didn't you?
Yeah, but then I thought that was mean, so I backtracked from that. Simon 1.5. But things like, so sometimes he will be slightly spoiling for a fight. If you phone, let's say something's gone wrong and he phones someone and he's on hold, at his voice, his tone, he gets really irate.
Okay, do you know what? That's a really good point. Yes.
Oh, you want to talk about this?
So well, just quickly, So when I came back, remember I was on hold for something to do with my phone because my phone wasn't working for like 2 weeks, and I was on hold for an hour. And normally that would be me getting a bit irate.
I thought he was gonna.
I was
going to go for the
completely zen, right? But so this propensity that I can have when, let's say, you're in a situation, you know, the computer says no energy, I'm like, no. that's how I've tended to be. Now that has crept back, and I'm asthmatic. My doctor's surgery messed up an inhaler prescription and weren't looking to remedy it. And I was like, no, let me stop you. And I noticed my voice rising again. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So those old patterns have crept back. It's just there's now that awareness of, I want to let that go really consciously. So this is what I mean is like there's always the edges being found. Even in my coaching, I remember like the presence has absolutely been a beautiful thing. Just being with someone. But sometimes there was one moment where I was telling someone to stop talking and be with what they felt. And I felt a bit like, oh, that was a little harsh. So there's always, and I said that to him, and actually he didn't feel that way, but so there's always this noticing the edges. It doesn't fix stuff. It's just anything that's out of alignment with that becomes even more obvious, and so it's this continual falling away. And my sense is that should never change for anybody. So anyone who suggests they're a finished article is talking gubbins. Like, you know, it is again bringing the Kensho into a human experience. Like that's the name of the game, is embracing our humanity. You know, and I think so. For just to finish, I think for us, you know, like we have really embraced together, not self-abandoning and like what's yours, what's mine, and like actually even embracing where we trigger each other, right? And but we have, right?
It's been a slog at times, but we have, and it really is worth doing. It's really worth it. It's not easy, is it? It's worth doing.
I mean, it's much easier now.
Now it is.
At the start, it was hard, absolutely. But it is that saying of Eckhart Tolle, like relationships are not here to make you happy, they're here to make you conscious. And we've embraced that. And the paradox is the more we've embraced that, the happier we get. And like at the wedding, it's just so clear. Like we are so lucky by embracing the work. It's rare. Like we are very lucky. And by embracing that, by embracing that, just looking lovingly at my wife, by embracing that
process.
Yeah, process, loving yourself, not self-abandoning. It's deepened our respective gifts in every way. Like, you know, the way you're blossoming in so many ways, energetically, with stuff that's just coming to you. I mean, you're powerful as a manifester.
Turns out I really am.
I mean, she really is. Like, this woman is powerful, right? In fact, that's a question I have for you.
Let's not talk about it, though.
No, but here's a question I have for you. When I came back, you said, I'm not interested in, I haven't got a desire to wake up.
Yeah.
My sense is that if Alex did have a Kensho, I mean, crikey, you know, there are people can get spiritual powers. I'm telling you. But so here's the question though.
Yeah.
Are you any more interested in, for example, coming on the retreats that I will be talking about and indeed helping run in future any more than you were when we spoke first time?
Yes, because now I can see that you are properly integrated in real life and everything is, you know, as it was before. I think my worry originally was that you were going to have been changed permanently and were just going to be so zen that you would have lost a lot of your humanness. And I think that possibly that's how things are in the aftermath, but then it does fade away.
Yeah.
And I would be worried about that for myself in terms of the kids, my work.
And as you were saying that, I was thinking like our relationship has been a big part of it is humor, is like we laugh a lot. And at the wedding, there was a moment where we had a right chuckle over
Got the giggles.
Something that reminded us of our favourite show, which is the UK Office. And so like, yeah, that's still very much there, right? Like you don't want to, you know, that's the whole point. It's embracing our humanity, but bringing the two together, the human and the being. Yeah. And just as a final thing sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I'm intrigued. I'm a lot more intrigued now about potentially doing it myself, but I'm definitely not in a rush. It's not something that I feel, oh, I really want to do this, but...
Yeah, well, when the time's right, you know, I think that's the thing. Everything unfolds in its good time, and that's the beauty of having a Kensho is recognizing. Well, it's all happening. You're not separate from any of it. So wherever you are is right where you're meant to be. Like literally, absolutely. There's nothing out of time or out of sync. It can't be because it's one. You know, that is the of course, and that's where the presence and that being okay with what is. And just as a final thing to say, like I think next year we will look to do stuff together.
Oh, definitely.
Because like, Alex has that energetic power that I don't have. Obviously, my insights and the coaching and everything I do. And I do feel like the yin and yang that Alex and I bring together at that level, and then particularly seen through the lens of the work we've done as a couple. You know, it has been the most spiritual practice, the most important spiritual thing. You know, that is the beauty of conscious relationships. Like we have been so lucky in that by embracing that a relationship just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper all the time. And so we're going to be, I think, putting on maybe some like mini stuff retreat type vibes together.
But more
so
than
if you're
that,
interested, let us know.
But I think that when you have that conscious relationship as a base, it's a springboard to everything that you want to do in your life.
And it's been such a gift for me. It's so secure with what I went through to be able to share it with you, with someone. It's you know, what a gift. So anyway, that'll do for now. Yeah, it is awakening meets real life, right? Like it's
and I think that's why it's important to do follow-up videos, because it's not.
Like we want to be honest, right?
Yeah.
And it's not about bypassing. It's embracing this beautiful human journey. And anyway, thank you for watching and sending you lots of love to wherever you are. And do let us know your thoughts and get in touch. Ping us some questions. We read them all. Lots of love.
Bye.
If you resonate with what I share about awakening, self-inquiry, and emotional honesty, I want to share A few words about my coaching. I work with people one-to-one who are drawn to this path of waking up, growing up, and cleaning up, as they say, through deep presence, through self-inquiry, through emotional inquiry. I meet people where they're at, and deep transformation is absolutely possible. Now, I've been quietly growing this side of my work, and sessions are filling up fast. So I may have to soon phase out consultations, particularly with the group work and the retreats I'm going to be focusing on in 2026. But if this speaks to you, book a consultation via the link down below. Let's meet, let's talk, and let's see if I can help.